Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be going through a complete Power League guide. So we're going to be going through every single map with the best picks, the best bans, and good alternative picks as well. So before we get into today's video, make sure you're using a creator code, and mine will be greatly appreciated if you're looking at buying something in the shop. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it. All right, guys, so starting off the guide with Bounty and starting off with Canal Grande. So as always, Sprout and Tick not really been nerfed within the last set balance changes, so they're always going to be it number one bans or picks, depending on whether you get first pick or not. I'll definitely, if the enemy team has the first pick, I'll be banning it Tick, and then vice versa the other way around. So these are going to be the best picks overall. Cole can be so good, especially on this map, because he's a really good counter to thrower brawlers, especially with his flying hook gadget. A lot of times you can just gadget straight into the bush, and there's not a lot of that the brawlers can, or the throwers can really do. You've also got the likes of Jean, who's going to be good against the likes of Cole and throwers in general, and all of these other sharpshooters. Rosa's really good at synergy with the likes of Baron. Normally you can use like a Jackie or a Rosa paired with a Baron. You can heal them up, get them into that bush, and everything else is fairly good. But yeah, as I said, try and get yourself a thrower on your team, and try and get at least a decent all-rounded brawler, just like a Carl or a Jean, in your composition as well. Okay, so next up is Dry Season, and the same again like Canal Grande. The throwers are going to be dominating this map, so a lot of times I end up probably just banning the likes of Tick and Sprout, depending on which one you hate facing the most on the other side. But as you can see by the best picks as well, the Jean Max combination is pretty much good everywhere right now. That's going to be the meta. That's going to be the main point of view. So you got to try and at least block the enemy team from going either Jean or Max. Both are really good on their own and good together. So make sure they're not getting them two brawlers same. I'm going to be saying that throughout the whole video. So just a tip for that. Even on this map, it's going to be insane synergy. So Jean can just be really good, because if you've got the lead, you can sit behind the walls and just chip away to your super. You can pull basically anyone. And you've got all these different sharpshooters as well, which are pretty good. Cole's good against throwers, as I said before. Stu, you don't want to be picking at Cole because, well, if the enemy team's got Stu, because Stu just wrecks at Cole. But other than that, these interactions, you want to be picking the brawlers that don't get countered as much. And I feel like most of these picks are just fairly balanced over. Okay, so Open Plaza is up next, and just the same with the other two bounty maps, the best picks are going to be Sprout, Tick, and Jean. These brawlers are just so good on bounty right now, but just nothing that really counters them. Even if they go like an aggressive brawler, you can easily then just pick something that counters that brawler. So again, as you see, the likes of Jean, Tick, and Sprout, they're going to be good in the middle. You've got the likes of Stu, because Stu's gadget can be really good, especially combined with a throw. You get that gadget in the back. They're going to be super speedy, so easy to dodge. Those type of brawlers. And again, you want to be blocking that Max and Jean combination. Make sure the enemy team don't get those. Carl's going to be really good, especially with these walls. He can easily wall peek around here, and he also could just gadget up the map, get some pressure, gadget out. Squeak's really good on this map as well, because you can easily shoot but beyond the walls. You keep your distance really well on this map. And you've got other brawlers again that are just going to be decent on bounty overall. Alright, guys, now moving on to the hardest bounty map in the Power League rotation. It's going to be Shooting Star. The main reason for this is when you get to the 5th and 6th pick, there's not really a lot of options that you can go that actually does much on the map. But as you can see, the best picks are Nanny and Tick. So the way you want to be doing this is, if the enemy team has first pick, you want to be banning Nanny, and then vice versa. If obviously you've got the first pick, you don't want to be banning Nanny. Nanny is by far the best brawler on this map, mainly because of her return to sender gadget and just the ability to basically counter most brawlers on this map. And then the next best picks, you've got the likes of Tick in the middle, Piper down the lane, Bell down the lane. Max is really good, especially countering the likes of Piper as well and the other aggressive brawlers. But as you can see by his picks, there's not really a lot you can go. I wouldn't really recommend it going anything outside of his list. Alright, guys, now moving on to Rubble, and starting off with Backyard Bowls, as you can see by the picks and bans as well. Just like always, make sure we're not getting that Jean and Max combination. So you either want to ban one of those brawlers, probably more than likely I would ban the Jean, and then either Bell or Stu. They're really likely bans as well. These are the most popular bans and picks in my opinion. So Crow, he's going to be an amazing counter to a lot of the Max combinations, and just really good overall on this map, because not much can really push a Crow, especially when he's got his gadget. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Amber's just going to be really good overall, because she's got obviously a super that can go over the walls, burn the grass, and easily deal damage to their enemies. You've got A-Bit. A-Bit, even with the nerf, he's going to be pretty decent because of his turret. A lot of the times people can just sit behind a wall with his turret. There's not much you can really do unless you've got a brawler that can shoot over walls or break the walls to destroy that turret. The likes of Byron's going to be still really good. Cole's going to be really good for pressure, especially when you've got an aggressive combination. He's going to be really good. Surge is a secret good pick on backyard bowl because a lot of times you can just play defensive, wait for the enemy to push up, TP on them, get an easy kill, and whatever else. But yeah, these are going to be the best picks for backyard bowl. Okay, so now moving on to sneaky fields. Again, these brawlers just dominate the Rubble and just the meta in general. Gene, Max, and Stu. Bell isn't on the top range because I feel like you can counter Bell a little bit more easy on this map because there's a lot more chances to sneak up and catch her off guard, which is still a really good pick in the middle. And you've got the likes of Carl and Amber, always a solid option on Dribble right now. You've got Amber who can destroy the grass. You've got Carl who can easily gadget up and score quite simply a lot of the times if you can catch them off guard. You've got the likes of Tara. Tara's going to be even better in the Rubble meta now because of the likes of Surge, Stu, and Carl. Tara's a really good counter to those. The same with Ems as well. That's why she's so good. Surge is going to be a good counter to Carl and Stu. And then you've got these other brawlers as well, which are going to be fairly decent. Okay, so now moving on to Super Stadium. Are you surprised by now? Gene, Max, Stu, they're going to be the best picks. And BANS Bell is going to be a really good mid as well, but not as good as the first three. And then Cole, again, just amazing everywhere right now. You just got to be a little bit careful in case the enemy team goes a counter. But even if you get countered as a Cole, it's still going to be pretty decent. Just make sure you're always trying to switch lane onto a lane which you've got a better matchup on. But like I said, Ems is just going to be amazing on this map and in this meta, especially when you combine with a Max as well. If you get that Max pick, make sure you're picking Ems over the likes of Sandy. People still pick Sandy, but Ems is by far the better option now inside of Rubble. Lots of Surge. Surge is absolutely amazing right now. Tara, again, if you see like a Stu or a Surge on the enemy team or a Cole, Tara is an amazing pick no matter the map. Barley's going to be really good. I wouldn't recommend picking Barley towards the first end of it because he can be countered by aggressive brawlers like Mortis, like Cole. They can really mess him up. But other than that, these picks are going to be really solid. All right, guys, moving on to the final Rubble map, Triple Dribble. And again, the same best picks for this map. Gene, Max, can't allow him to get that combo. Stu just going to be pretty much good against everything right now. And then the next best pick, I really like Tick in the middle on this map, especially if they've got really bad spawns. This map is not symmetrical, so it can be really toxic, especially if you've got like a Tick or a thrower on your team. You can easily just spam the enemy team out and get a lot of pressure straight off the get-go. So Tick an amazing pick. Even if the enemy team go aggressive brawlers, he's still really good with his gadget and his supers. So Surge, he's going to be amazing down either lane. It kind of depends on your matchup. He can be really good down the right hand side, TPing on like a Carl. That's normally like the most common matchup on this map, a Carl on the right hand side or like an Ems, or he can either go left once he gets his third level against like a B or a Bell or something long range like that. Then you've got some really solid options overall. But yeah, the Brawl meta is basically the same on every map. Alright guys, now moving on to Gem Grab and starting off with Floaty Down, probably one of the worst maps in the game right now, and it's so hard to actually know what is definitely good on this map. But I feel like I've got a really good list for now anyways. Kind of depends on what the enemy team picks. So for the best picks, you've got the Tick and Sprout. You want either or in the middle. A lot of times Sprout just gets banned on this map, so you either want to go Tick or a Gene mid. They're going to be by far the best mids. I feel like you can't really go too much else inside of this map because of just like the narrow lanes and whatever else. You've also got the likes of Bell and Stu going to be really good options. Rico's going to be amazing down either lane, down left or right. He's going to be really toxic. The likes of Squeak can be really good, especially shooting over at the mid. And a lot of times in Power League at the higher ranks, people go like an aggressive brawler down the right hand side. Just keep launching yourself into that middle. It's going to be really hard for the enemy team to actually do too much. I've even seen the likes of Bull, Frank, Mortis being pulled out on the right hand side, just constantly just getting pressure. Just keep cycling the spawns over and over again. But overall, I feel like these are good picks on Floaty Down. Okay, so next up is Hard Rock Mine. And again, just the same as most maps, Gene Max is going to be by far the best combination. Make sure 100% the enemy team don't get that combo. Even if these brawlers don't synergize the best with your comp, or you're not really the best with, you just got to make sure you don't give the enemy team that. Then you've got the likes of Stu and Bell as well. They're just so dominant over here. So yeah, the main thing about Gene and Max is that they don't really get countered at all by anything. That's why it's just good to go it anyway. And then we've got the likes of Carl. Carl's going to be amazing for the pressure down either lane, especially if you can get behind the wall, get in the grass. It's going to be hard for the enemy team to get him out. Rico's amazing right now. Is actually reformed it back into the Hard Rock Mine meta because he's basically good against everything. There's not a lot of Sprout in this Gem Grab meta, so Rico's going to have a good time here. Amber's going to be amazing overall. A-Bit, he's going to have a good synergy with Byron if you can get that combo together. Ruffs is just going to be amazing at giving the carry brawlers that power up. Squeak's just going to be decent everywhere. Surge is going to be really good if Cole's in play as well. And just everything on this list is going to be okay. So next up, we have Ice 4. And just like the last one, Gene Max is going to be absolutely amazing. You can either go Max or Gene mid, and then the Stu as well. Stu's just going to be annoying for every single brawler. The next best pick is going to be Tara. Tara is absolutely insane on this map, especially with her support from Beyond Gadget. It's going to be amazing at winning your lane, and especially if you can get in the mid, getting your super, it's going to be really hard for anyone to get you out, and especially a Gene. You want to be picking Tara if the enemy team has a Gene as well. Those pets are just going to destroy him, and the likes of Belle's going to be really good. Belle, you can play mid or lane on this map. She's going to be really solid. Amber is just an amazing pick on this map because you can destroy the grass, allowing it, well, not allowing the enemy team to actually sneak up on you. Crow's just going to be a good brawler overall on gem grab. You can get some really solid slows on there. Cole, again, going to be amazing. You just got to be careful with Cole. If the enemy team goes like a Tara, there's not really any point going to Cole because you're going to get wrecked. And overall, there's going to be a lot of other solid. All right, guys, so last up in gem grab, we have Minecart Madness. And again, the same bans and picks are going to be in place. The likes of Crow is absolutely amazing on this map, especially if you can get his slow. A lot of times you can actually trap him with the Minecart. It's a really, really good synergy, especially if you have like a Gene or something that can just pounce on the enemies that get slowed. It's going to be an easy takedown every single time. So Amber's going to be amazing because a lot of the times her super can just make it really awkward for the enemy team to move it around, especially if you have a lot of supers on the map. It's going to be really toxic for the enemy team to actually push back into that. Cole, again, amazing everywhere. 8-bit, he's going to be a solid option. I wouldn't really say is my go-to pick, but he's just going to be a decent gem carrier if it isn't much more available. Squeak, he's going to be really toxic on this map, especially when it's paired with the likes of like a Crow or an Amber. It's going to be really toxic because his shot can basically cover the whole area of the grass. Is really, really good. Byron's going to be amazing. Surge, all of his different brawlers, they're going to be the best in this gem grab. Okay, so moving on to Heist now, starting off with Hot Potato. So the bans, again, I just like to ban the likes of Belle and Stu because they're so annoying. Belle is OP, especially on a Heist. If you can keep connecting the shots onto the safe, they're just going to infinitely bounce off of people. Rico is a really good option because you can play him either mid or lane, so I like to pick him for the most part. He's not really banned. And then the likes of Colette or Jessie in the mid. I like Colette a lot more because you can actually cycle your supers way easier than a Jessie, but Jessie can be useful, especially if you face the likes of Ruffs. Barley can be good, but sometimes it's better not to pick him at first pick because he could get countered by the likes of a BB or a Cole down one of the lanes. And you've got the likes of Amber, Surge, Squeak. They can be all right, but definitely the better options are going to be the first picks. Okay, so now moving on to safe zone again with the Belle and Stu. They're just so good, especially in the 1v1 interactions. Belle again in the middle is going to be absolutely insane. So if you don't get the first pick, make sure you're banning Belle. Colette is going to be amazing down either lane because again in Heist she's going to be so OP with the shield style power. You can just keep cycling and getting so much damage. Piper is going to be amazing in the middle as well, but if you want to counter that Piper, Max is a good alternative, especially when you pair it with the likes of Cole or Amber. You can just keep suiciding over and over again. You've got the likes of Byron as well. He's a really good synergy brawler with the likes of Colette if you can get that on your team. Crow is also a good counter to Amber as well, and if the enemy team has a Byron and Colette, Crow's just going to destroy him. And then you've got these other options as well, which don't normally pick, but they're just there in case you feel like you. Okay, so now moving on to Snaked Assault. This is a fairly same meta as all the other Heist maps. Again, Belle is still going to be the better options. Belle is always going to be the #1 pick in Heist, again because of that insane mechanic. Colette is going to be really crazy down either lane. Make sure you got her picked. Amber's going to be really good because especially on this map, you can break a lot of the grass with her super. Crow's just going to be insane as well because of all of these picks. Crow basically counters with a slow, especially when combined with other brawlers. Again, Byron Colette is just going to be one of the better synergies on Heist, especially if you can just go down one single lane, just keep healing that Colette up and she's just going to keep supering in and vice versa. Jesse's going to be good on this map, especially because you can just camp in the middle with a Jesse, and when you get turret, you can go aggro, get a free kill with the turret and the stun. That's going to be really good. Max is just going to be amazing everywhere. Carl is especially good on this map because you got the wall right next to the safe. You can get so much damage, especially if the enemy just leaves you alone. You're going to get a lot of damage, as I said. And Squeak's just going to be good on Heist, and Surge is going to be one of those counter pick brawlers. Right, guys, moving on to the final Heist map, which is Turnaround. Probably one of the worst maps inside of a game, mainly because it's basically a base race map. It's really hard to actually know how to play this map because it's all different depending on the different comps that the people use, because there's so many different brawlers to use. But anyway, you can see a lot of these brawlers are going to be base race brawlers. You got the likes of Tara with her pets. You got Colt, who's really good, just bursting a safe. You got 8-bit with his turret, Jessie with her turret, and Nita with her bear. Bunch of these brawlers are just going to be really good if left alone. And Sprout's going to be really good for control, and so is Rico. Normally, Rico is the brawler that gets banned all of the time because basically he can just belt across any single lane he goes across. Sprout's going to be really good because his walls can block off certain choke points, making it really easy to defend. All of his different brawlers, it's kind of just up to you what you depend on playing, especially if you want to go down that left hand side, be aggro. Right guys, now moving on to hot zone. First one starting off with dueling beetles. Again, the same 4 picks are going to be the strongest: Bell, Stu, Gene and Max. That Gene Max combination, even on dueling beetles, is going to be absolutely insane. Amber's also going to be a really good pick here as well, because our super can easily block off one of the choke points. The same with Lou, you can just cover the whole zone with one super. You're going to be able to get a lot of time, especially if you've got Amber and Lou in the same combination. Jesse's going to be really good because of the turret. Carl's going to be good for the pressure. Tick, everyone hates Tick because of his zoning, and imagine if you pair a brawler like Tick with the other zoning brawlers like a Lou, like an Amber, like a Squeak, you're going to get so much control and pressure. All of these brawlers are good on this. So now moving on to Split, as you can see by the best picks, a little bit different from the other maps. Tick is absolutely insane on this map. Basically, you can't really counter Tick, especially on Power League. You can in other circumstances, but Power League, you're going to be able to pick a counter to counter a Tick, if you get what I mean. And then you got the likes of Stu and Surge. Surge is going to be absolutely insane. You can play him either lane. For the most part, you want to play him down the left lane. But if the enemy team's got a Ruffs to counter it, you probably want to go down the defensive side. You've got the likes of Colt, so if the enemy team gets like a Barley or a Tick, a thrower, you can use Colt and break open the mid so easily, being able to just destroy them. You've got BB, who can be really good down the left with the shield style power, super annoying. The same with Cole, he's going to be insane down that left hand side. Rico can be an okay pick. I would say definitely don't use a Rico if the enemy team has a Surge. It's going to be free kill for Surge every single time. But then you've got these other brawlers that can be pretty decent. Squeak's annoying down the left. Gale can be good paired with a tank. And Pam's going to be really good down defensive lane. So those are going to be the best brawlers. Alright guys, moving on to the final hot zone map. And probably the worst map inside of Power League as well. Triumvira. I don't even know how to say it, but it's just a trash map. Everyone hates it. But the best picks here are going to be the Tara, Stu, and Amber picks. So it's going to be absolutely insane. Tara with her pets. There's hardly any brawler that's going to be able to deal with his pets, especially down the defensive lane. Once you get super, you can just keep jumping in. You can take any lane you want with that Tara super. So it's going to be insane in 1v1 interactions. Amber's going to be able to basically win every single lane when she has her super. Ems is a good pick, especially if your enemy team has a Tara. Ems is going to be a good value pick. You can play her in the mid. Jessie as well. Jessie's not going to be the best in 1v1 interactions, but again, once you get her super, it's going to be really good when you're able to jump in on the launch pad, throw your turret on him, stun him. You're going to get an easy first kill. Surge, he's going to be really good. You've got to be careful again of the Tara, because Tara can counter Surge pretty well. But overall, Surge is a solid pick, and all of these other brawlers can be good either in defensive lane or the mid. Alright guys, now moving on to the final mode, we have Siege, starting off with a bot drop. As you can see again, it's the same bans, it's the same picks. Make sure you're getting at least one of these. Again, do not let your team get Gene, well, the enemy team get Gene and Max. That's just too good of a combination. As you can see as well, the next best picks, Crow's going to be an amazing counter to the Crow, to the Max comps, because of these slows, the free gadgets on this map. It's going to be so easy to secure the first round, and that's going to be super crucial on bot drop. You can get that first robot, that first round, and then get the second. It's just really hard to push back, especially if they've got a Crow on the other side. You've got an Amber as well. Amber's going to be really good again, just at zoning. Amber's just insane in this meta. Carl's going to be really good at collecting the first bolt, and especially if you go down the left-hand side, hide behind that wall. It's going to be really hard for the enemy team to pinch you out. Byron's just going to be a good mid overall, being able to help your lanes push up, collect those bolts with the heals. Squeak's just going to be really annoying brawler, especially if you get one single robot. You can throw the super on the Ike, and you're going to be dealing at least 35% damage onto the Ike there. Instead of like a Barley can get countered a little bit too much. Squeak is a good alternative in that case. And then the other brawlers kind of depends on what comp the enemy team goes. Alright guys, now moving on to Factory Rush. Again, for every single Siege map, it's going to be the best, same best picks and bans. Gene is just insane everywhere on Siege, mainly because even if you lose a round, you can easily gain control back with that Gene pool, and nothing counters Gene on Siege. But moving on to the next best picks, Carl is going to be insane even when the enemy team can counter him, even with like a Stu or a Surge. He's going to be really good. So for the majority of the part, you can just gadget to that first bolt, and if you play it right and make sure you're delaying that second bolt or the first bolt long enough, so around the 5-second mark, you're going to be able to get that first robot. That's going to be really crucial, especially if you use that tactic all across Siege, but especially on this map, it's so easy to secure that first bolt. Then again, the same brawlers again, it's got to be Amber and Crow. They're just going to be good at countering what's meta on this map. Surge, it can be pretty tough because he's slow in the first few stages, but once you get that second level up, it's going to be really easy, especially if you've got like a Carl on the enemy team or a Stu. You're going to easily get your levels off of them. Byron. Pipe is going to be really good because you can open up the walls in front of the Ike, dealing a lot of damage. Barley can be really good, especially if the enemy team hasn't got good defense. You can basically one push on this map with a Barley, and Lou's just going to be insane for defense. Alright guys, now moving on to Siege, Nuts and Bolts, the same best picks and bans again. Likes of Carl is going to be absolutely insane getting that first bolt again. Sprout, he's going to be really good down the middle on this map. A lot of times you can get some really good defenses with the walls. The walls on this map are so toxic. You can zone off so much of the map the way you really want it to be. And it's going to be hard for the enemy team to push back if there's just a wall in their face. They're going to have to go around one of the other lanes. And it's just going to be so much easier for them to group up and get a lot of value. Barley, he's going to be good on every single Siege map. Even if they've got counters, you basically just need a couple of robots. Keep the Barley alive on the push and you're going to be getting a lot of damage. BB is going to be good at collecting bolts. Surge, again, mainly just to counter the coal. And all these different brawlers as well are going to be decent. Alright guys, moving on to the final Siege map, Robo Highway. This map is a bit of a weird one, but again, best picks are just going to be the same. Don't really need to talk about them anymore. Carl, again, I always just pick Carl if I've got like first or second pick, because I just know I'm going to be able to collect bolts so easily with this brawler. Amber is going to be insane, mainly to break up the grass in the middle. A lot of the times you can just press your gadget. If you have super, you're going to be killing every single lane in the game. You've got Surge. Surge is even better on this map, mainly because you can just sit around mid, and if the enemy team knows you've got gadgets left, you can't really push a Surge that easily unless you've got like supers or you've got a good pinch. Jess is going to be good in the middle as well, because again, you can just sit behind a wall, especially if you've got a super. There's not a lot of brawlers that can really push Jesse out of that power position. Ems is going to actually be really toxic on this map. I actually discovered this recently. Ems can be really good controlling the middle area, especially if you've got super. There's not a lot of brawlers that can actually push her out. And then the same again, same Siege brawlers. You've got Lou for defense, you've got Sprout for defense and good area control. You've got Barley for dealing damage and Squeak also for dealing damage. So there's going to be the best combos. Right guys, this is going to be the end of today's video. Let me know what you think of my picks in the comment section below. I will be doing another guide on this in around 2 to 3 weeks time, because there'll be a new season, new maps and whatever else. But I thought I'd do this for the people that want to grind towards masters or just on the way to legendary, whatever you want to grind to. Make sure you can use in this guide because it's going to be really OP. But that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.